Welcome to the Luxury Invest Group podcast, where today we're joined with Jamie Grimshaw, the head of Luxury Invest Group Dubai. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks very much for joining. So tell us a bit about you, Jamie. Where did you grow up?
So I'm from a little town outside Manchester called Bolton. Normal working class background. When I was really young, we lived with my gran, and then when I was maybe 10, 11, 12, we moved out, still in Bolton though, and moved close to the football stadium. And then, stayed there until I came to Dubai.
So a bit about your early career. What was it like growing up? What school did you go to?
Yeah, so I went to private school in Bolton. It's actually quite clever, surprisingly, and just played a lot of sport. I played football, golf, tennis, all the time.
Competitively?
A lot. It was literally school, football, tennis.
Yeah.
And
what was your first job?
So my first job was cold calling. They call it telesales, but cold calling. It was for a commercial real estate company or commercial estate agents, and it was literally just, "Hi, do you want to sell your business? No. Hi, do you want to sell your business? No." So it was a lot of that.
Pretty ruthless.
Yeah, really. Yeah, but yeah.
What was school like for you?
I really enjoyed it. I went to private school in Bolton, all boys school. I really enjoyed it. I played a lot of sport. I was playing a lot of tennis, a lot of football, and I was quite clever. Got 10 GCSEs, 3 A's. But yeah, when I was younger, sport was just basically everything.
How competitively did you play the sport then?
So I played a lot of football, a lot of tennis when I was really young, and then it got to the stage where I had to either take football to the next step or tennis, and I took tennis to the next step. So that was a lot. It was obviously school 9 till 4, and then it was straight to training. So yeah, that was a lot.
Why did you choose tennis over football?
Good question. I just enjoyed it more when I was younger. Like, looking back now, I should have probably done football because there's a lot more money in football. But when I was younger, I just preferred tennis. I preferred like the social side of it. Like, a lot of my friends played tennis, and you'd go to the tournaments. You'd spend the weekends or weeks sort of away together with all your friends, and I just really enjoyed it. So I stuck with that.
Who was your favourite tennis player back then?
Back then, probably Federer. Or before that, it was probably Agassi. I don't know if you remember.
Before my time.
But it was Agassi and then probably Federer.
Why did you stop playing tennis?
It got to the point where after school finished, obviously you move into like the normal route as you move into college, and the people that I was competing against did it the other way. So they moved into full-time tennis, and education took a back step, whereas I was the opposite. So I was full education and then still just trying to train as and when I could. And I quickly realized that you just can't, I couldn't get the same hours on the court to compete with the same people. Unfortunately, I just had to give it sort of a backseat. I still played socially and things like that, but I just couldn't play it competitively and still manage sort of college.
And what did you do after then?
So I got my A-levels, and then from there I went to the Uni of Sheffield. So I was studying accounting and finance.
What was that like?
It wasn't great. And the reason why I say that is because I didn't actually learn anything. So I was there for, obviously uni in the UK starts in September. So I did September until December, and I hadn't learned one thing. It was basically what I'd learned when I was at school or I was at college. So I just thought, what's the point? I'm getting in huge debt here, and I've learned absolutely nothing. So I applied to change course. So I tried to change course to business management, but there was only place to start in the September, and we were now in like the Christmas time or the January, whatever it might be. So that was the plan. The plan was to start business management in the September. But then I realised that to do accounting and finance, rather than go to uni and pay yourself and get into massive debt, I realised that I could go into an accountancy firm. They would pay me a salary and pay for me to go to uni. So I was like, this is brilliant.
Sounds much better than racking up a load of debt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wish someone had told me that before. But yeah, that was the plan. So it was to change to business management. Then I realised that I didn't actually need to go this route, and I could go into sort of get a job in an accounting firm and take it that way.
So this bit between realizing you were going, what happened in this gap period of time where you were waiting to do the new course?
Yeah, so, I mean, look, there was 9 months where I'd find something to do. So I just thought, let's get a job. The plan originally was just to get a job to tide me over, because all along I wanted to get this accounting job in the September. So I applied for the accounting jobs in the September, but realised that there wasn't actually any placements then. You had to apply like 12 months prior.
Yeah.
So it turned out that I had to wait like 18 months to get this accounting job. So I needed to find a job. I needed to earn some money.
Yeah.
So I got a job with a commercial estate agent in the UK. Cold calling, just calling people saying, hi, it's Jamie, do you want to sell your business?
Is that what the job was? Yeah, people wanting to sell their businesses.
Well, they didn't want to sell. That was the problem. I had to call and say, I had to obviously see if they wanted to sell a little bit more elaborately. But basically, that was the job, yeah. So we'd go in. I'd get given a list of, I don't even know how legal this is in the UK, but I'd get given a list of businesses in the UK ordered by postcode. And I'd just call all through all day, finding if
Sounds like a pretty tough job, though.
Yeah, it was ruthless.
Hard work.
You got a lot of abuse, a lot of no's. Like, you could be calling all day and get no one that wants to sell. If someone calls us now and says, do you want to sell your business? You're like, no, go away.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So imagine that all day, every day.
So how long have you done this for? How did the telesales career, that wasn't for you forever then?
No. So did it for 3 months with one company, then moved to their competitor. So yeah, I moved from there. I did 3 months, and then I was in the other place for 6 months. Then they made me manager, and then I just got to the point where I was like, "This isn't for me." Like, I'm in a call center basically all day, calling people, getting a lot of abuse, a lot of no's, and I'm just stuck in this office.
It must have taught you a bit about handling rejection, resilience, and traits like that.
Yeah, no, it did. It obviously helps with today's job because the amount of times you get told no, you just have to keep going, and
keep fighting,
eventually you will make it work. So that did teach me quite a lot, and it taught me discipline as well, to be honest, because to do that all day, every day, it's tough. I've seen a lot of people come and go. So that was tough, and it sort of taught me organisation as well, because when I was in the management side of things, I had to organise. So someone would call and say, do you want to sell your business? This person would say yes. Get passed to me, I'd have to qualify them and then effectively book them in for the valuer to go and value the business. So it was sort of like managing, organisation, everything like that, which looking back obviously helps.
Was there an element of leading people as well, going into the management role?
Yeah, there was, and it was difficult as well because at the time I was really young. I was 19, so a lot of the guys that were in the office, I mean, they were full-grown men. Yeah, I was the manager at 19, so that was difficult.
Strange dynamic.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? If you do the job correctly, people respected what you were saying, and I wasn't ordering people around. I was more just making sure everything was done properly and sort of in line.
So you're only 19 at this point. You're a manager. Why did you leave?
I just felt, I said briefly, like I was stuck in an office, and I just thought there was more to life than being stuck in this office. And I had someone from the tennis club, actually. He used to work he still does, in a estate agency, like normal, like real estate.
Yeah.
Back home, and I was chatting to him one night, and he was like, why don't you try it? He's like, if you've obviously, this is what you're doing right now, like the skills are quite transferable, so why don't you try it? So I was like, yeah, why not? So I sent my CV to the company where he worked, and then they literally called me like straight away. I think I went for an interview quite soon after, and then started that job literally straight after.
So when that was my background as well. I did a estate agency. What did you think of it?
I loved it. I was young. I had freedom in that I wasn't stuck in an office all day. I was out meeting different clients all the time. And the money was great, but I loved it back then. I was on, I don't know, 15, 18K basic. And then I was on 5% commission for every deal.
5%, it's different.
So that was
different to Dubai.
But I was earning, it was like £125 on average per sale that I made to myself. And I was doing like between 8 and 10 or 12 a month.
You're killing it.
Well, it was brilliant, mate. Yeah. I was 19, 20, and I was earning like, 35 grand a year? Obviously tax. So I think I was coming away with like between
5,000.
I think I was coming away with maybe like, I don't know, about £2,000 a month, which as a lad at that
brilliant.
age.
Really good
Everyone
one.
else is at uni racking up debt, no money. And I just had all this money, man. I loved it.
So you're in a estate agency, the passion for property begins. What was the differences between what you were doing? They're quite different, the telesales to estate agency.
Yeah, it was quite daunting to begin with, to be honest, because I'd been stuck in an office just calling people, and then all of a sudden I was out meeting people face to face and selling them like a family home,
Yeah.
which was quite crazy at that age. But to be honest, I was really lucky. I was there for, I think, 18 months or 2 years, and I had 3 really good managers, and I think that really helps. Like the first manager that I had, he taught me so much about the job and like how to approach clients, how to negotiate offers. It was literally so much that I learned from him. And then he moved to a different office and another lady came in, and she just taught me so much about organization. Like she was so rigid on morning meetings every single day.
What kind of things?
So there was a sales board in the office, and every morning the meeting was, I think it was maybe 8:45. You had to put your figures on the board before then, and it said basically what your targets were, where you were up to. And if you weren't on target, she was ruthless, but it was really good. She would want to know why you weren't on target. And it was almost like, and I think that's what I brought today, like if you're not on target and you're getting asked in front of everyone why you're not on target, or what, like why have you not done this, why have you not done that, it's almost like you don't want to be in that position.
Yeah.
So you feel like you have to hit target, obviously for yourself, but you feel like you have to just to sort of keep that.
Is that the kind of things that you'd apply today being a manager? Are the things you've taken from that job into today?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have meetings every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I've got the sales board there with the targets on. Everyone knows what they've done. Everyone has to fill it in. So I think that is something, it always works so well. And I felt like if we did it that way, you don't miss anything. Like when we did that in the UK, we never missed anything. We were like the top performing branch in the whole of the country. And it was like a countrywide, well, it's called countrywide. Yeah. It was a big operation. We were like the top performing branch pretty much the whole time. And it was just through these things that I learned. Obviously, I was part of it, but I learned how they got us to that stage.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what I try and bring across today to the team, and meetings and targets.
What do you think are the main differences between being in the UK doing that job and being here in Dubai doing the job?
I feel like in the UK, it's the roles are very separate. So in the UK, you have a negotiator, you have a valuer, you have a conveyancer, and you have a manager who oversees everything. Whereas in Dubai, you do everything. You get the listing, you go and meet the seller, you put the property online, you find the buyer, you do the viewing, you get the offer, you negotiate it, and you do the conveyancing. So in the UK, it's 3 very separate jobs, and that's how you progress. You go negotiator, senior, branch valuer, branch manager, director. Whereas in Dubai, you're a valuer, you're a negotiator, a senior negotiator.
You do everything.
And a conveyancer, so you take a lot on. But the principles are the same. It's just that, you do basically every single job in Dubai as opposed to having it all separate in the UK.
So is this where Dubai comes into the picture? How does Dubai come into the picture?
Yes, good question. So obviously I was loving it in the UK. It was brilliant, honestly. Like the job was brilliant and I loved the job. I think that was the key thing.
Earning good money.
Exactly. But one of my, like the second manager that I had, she actually moved to Dubai, and she called me and said, I'm moving to Dubai. And it was a place that I'd heard you could earn like loads of money. I thought that sounds great, but I'd never actually taken the next step.
Into it.
Yeah. And then she moved here, and I think she maybe messaged me a few weeks later, and she's like, this is amazing. Like you would love it. So yeah, I thought, well, let's give it a go.
So you're in Dubai now, you've moved. What was it like first few months?
It's a lot, it's ruthless. And I think I quickly realised that because when you come over, or back then when I came over, you come with a little bit of money that I sold my car, I think I don't know, maybe £7,000-8,000. And it was in that position where it's commission only. And I was like, well, if I lose this £7,000, got no
Game
money.
over.
I've got nothing. So I was like, I just have to make it work. So to be honest, for I'd say at least a year, I just worked 24/7. Like I was working non-stop.
Yeah.
Still work obviously now, but I mean back then it was
sink or swim, do or die.
Yeah, I mean I didn't know anyone. That's the important point. I literally knew my old manager, and that was the only person that I knew. So it wasn't like I had a big social life. I was literally just working, coming home late, sleeping, waking up early, straight to work.
And working at this point, your first couple of months, 3 months, you're in rentals.
Yeah, so I joined in the September, and I was straight into rentals, which I think is the best way to go. Like I learned so much in such a short period of time, and what I mean by that is I was out viewing all the time, because if you do rentals, really, there should be more viewings that take place. There should be more sort of interactions. So I learned so much in a short period of time.
About the process, about different locations, about Dubai, what?
Both, I think. Like fundamentally, it's the same job, but I learned so much. Like the first person I spoke to, or maybe not the first person, but like the first listing that I got, let's say when I was starting, he was like, "Yeah, no problems, the door's open." I was like, "What? The door's open?" He's like, "Yeah, just go." And I was like, "As in I can just walk in?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I don't need a key." He's like, "No, it's open."
It blew my mind.
And I was like, "This is crazy." In the UK, there's a key that's locked in a safe that's locked so that no one can get in.
Yeah.
I was like, "This is crazy."
There's probably a furnished apartment as well. Which
That was in Manchester. It's no longer furnished.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so look, I started in rentals, did that for, I think I was maybe 3 months or so. And I was covering the marina, and there was no one else in the office that did the marina. So as I was contacting all these owners and things like that, I was obviously getting people that say, "I don't want to rent, but I want to sell." So it got to the point where I basically went to the manager and said, "Look, I've done X amount of deals and I'm getting all these people that want to sell. Can I list a couple?" So I basically had to, if I had a listing, I'd go to him and say, "This is it." And if it was sort of good enough, let's say, I could list it, because I didn't know anything about sales at that point. It was only rentals that I knew everything about. So yeah, luckily I got a listing towards the end of that year.
Do you remember your first listing?
Yeah.
What was it?
It was a 3-bed in Al Sahab one.
In Marina, yeah.
Yeah, 3rd floor. It was a weird layout, because obviously 3 beds in the marina are always front corner, full marina view. And this one's back corner, not really got any view. But it was really cheap. I didn't realise at the time it was cheap, but it was really cheap.
So this was your first listing. Was this your first sales
deal
deal as well?
It was like the only one that I was allowed to list at that time. So yeah, 3-bed Al Sahab, 2.6 sold for.
What would that be now?
I think they sold it recently, actually, like mid-3s.
Okay.
Because it went up massively and then came down to maybe like, that unit was probably 1.7, 1.8.
Yeah, because when you started, this would have been 2013. We're talking about early 2013. What would the market have been like then compared to now in terms of demand, prices?
Yeah. When I first joined, I didn't realise what market we were in, because I was just used to the UK where everything goes up slowly. And I thought, it'd be the same. But looking back now, it was a crazy market. Like when I moved into sales, I would literally get people call me and they wouldn't want to view. They would just buy, because the expo was... Like the announcement for the expo was coming. I think it was the end of 2014. It was actually announced. So people were buying on the assumption it would just rise until the expo, which was 2020.
And how do you mean? Sorry, they'd see a listing online, they'd call you as the agent, and they'd be putting in offers over the phone.
Yeah. They saw it like it was almost like get your hands on whatever you can, and it's just guaranteed to go up. It was crazy. Looking back, I didn't realize at the time, but looking back, that's what happened. Yeah, it was crazy time.
You spoke about the money of a state agency in the UK, how it works with the commission structure. What was the big difference with Dubai? How did it work, for example, with your first sales deal?
Yeah, that's a good question. So obviously in the UK, I was £125 a sale plus the basic. So let's say 125 quid a sale. And then I came to Dubai, and sort of the commission was very different. I got paid 50% of the commission compared to 5%. So automatically I thought, this is brilliant. Yeah. And then I was in rentals, and I think like the cheapest 1-bed at the time in Marina was maybe, let's say, 100k, and the agency fee was 5%, so 5,000 dirhams, and I would get 50% of that. So I was taking home like 2,500 dirhams, which is, let's just say, 500 quid for a rental. Yeah. And I was like, this is crazy. How can this be right? Like I sell a property in the UK. I sell a property in the UK and I get 125 quid, or I rent a 1-bed in Dubai and I got paid 500 quid. I was like, this is mental. And then obviously when I did that first sale, I just couldn't believe it, mate. It was 2.6, so 52k commission. I'm gonna be on half of that, so 26,000 dirhams, which is just over £5,000. going to pay £125 for the same thing back home.
Yeah, and then being taxed on it.
Yeah, honestly, it was crazy. So I think that was like the pinch me moment. Like the first time obviously the rentals was good and I was making decent money because I was doing a lot of rentals as well. But then when I got paid that first commission for the sale, I was just like this
light bulb moment. I have to do sales.
I was like, it's got to be a catch. Like it can't be right.
You moved to Dubai, completely different country, environment, culture. You start in the Dubai Marina. How did you even know how to go about it?
It's a good question. I mean, when I first moved, I was so naive. I thought Dubai was the country until I was on the plane.
Really?
And then I remember sitting on the plane and they were like, Dubai, UAE. I was like, UAE? Crazy. But no, when I first came, I got told by the director, he said, look, he drove me around to the different EMAR buildings in the marina. He said, this is what you're going to focus on. And he said, learn one. And then once you've learnt one, move on to the next. So I had a folder. I started with Park Island. Park Island's 4 buildings. So I printed out every layout in each building in this folder. And I learnt everything about them, like the shapes, the sizes, the beds, the bathrooms, everything. And I just learned everything about the project. I could tell you all the amenities, what floor they're on, what restaurants are downstairs, what gyms, pharmacy, everything. And I learned everything about that one project. And once I felt like I'd maximised it as best that I could, I spoke to every owner, etc. Then I moved on to the next one, which was Marina Promenade. And I did exactly the same until eventually I had, I think, like 4 black folders with all the floor plans for Park Island, Promenade, Marina Keys, Al Sahab, EMAR 6.
Knew them inside out.
Everything, yeah, to the exact square foot. So it's not like it's about 900, like it's 909 square feet. Yeah, everything. But I think that's so important. But I think it's so important that because when I'm meeting, obviously there's thousands of agents in Dubai, and if you go to meet an agent and he can tell you the exact size of a unit, it's so much more powerful.
Professional.
It's about 800. Well, what does that mean? Yeah. Is it 750? Is it 850? Is it 800? What does that mean?
So is that the advice you'd give to a new starter with you, for example? Knowledge is power. You've got to know everything about what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you don't know everything, you'll very quickly be found out in Dubai because, first of all, there's so many agents. There's such a big competition. I mean, my phone never stops with people cold calling me, trying to get me to list properties. And if they don't know about the property, how are you going to sell the property?
Yeah.
Or if you meet a client as a buyer, why are they going to buy the property through you if you don't know the information? Yeah. That's what I insist on. Learn a project. I want to be able to come to you and say, don't like that layout. It's too small. Is there a bigger layout? And you have to be able to tell me no or yes and tell me the sizes. Or there is a bigger one, but it's on the side, so it doesn't have as good a view. And I think that's the detail that you have to go into to be successful.
Would you turn down business if owners in the marina had other units elsewhere in Dubai, for example?
To begin with, or
once you're working on the area?
I wouldn't turn down listings, but I'd be very honest with the client. I don't overpromise. If someone calls,
this is where I focus.
Like I get it all the time. Someone messaged me the other day, I think he had a property to rent in downtown. And I said, look, we can help you, but it's not an area that we focus on. So yes, I can put it online, and yes, if we get clients interested, of course, we'll give you the service that you require. But you need to be honest with people because I'm not really going to be able to cross-sell a tenant from Marina to downtown.
Yeah.
Or for sale, for example, there might be a small crossover, but I'd rather just be honest with someone.
Manage expectations.
For a seller, yeah. If it's a good client, then obviously we can do it, and they understand they want to work with. Like a lot of my clients want to work with me, and it's in terms of they know the service that I offer and the advice that I give, and they understand that maybe, I don't know, let's say Dubai Hills, for example, it's not the area of focus that I have. So I don't know every size in Dubai Hills. Yeah. I have a vague understanding. But if you don't have that relationship with the client, you can't really take that client on that journey because you don't know anything about the area. Yeah. You have to build a network of different agents who you can work with, who you can maybe point them in the right direction of. So I wouldn't say turn business away, but I would say always just be honest with the client and explain, this is my specialty, but X person can help you.
Your first deal was in Al Sahab in the marina. This is the road to you becoming the king of the marina. Where did you go from here?
So I I've always done the marina, so I continue to do that, and obviously sold a hell of a lot of properties there. And I was at the same company. I was doing quite well. They increased the package, and then I was eventually made the manager there. And then the directors decided to open a protein ice cream company.
Wow.
So I got this call. I got this call one day from the director, and he told me, and I was just like, right, okay. I was like, what do you say to that?
They were closing the company to do that?
Yeah, the whole company was closing down. They wanted to invest all their money into the protein ice cream company. So then when word got out about that, I was getting calls off obviously different companies, and then I moved to a different company, Residence Dubai. It was a good company, maybe 15, 20 agents or so. I took some with me as well from the original company. So it was almost like still sort of looking after those people. They came to me if they needed help, etc., etc. And then, I stayed there in total, I was probably there for like 3 years or so. But the structure of that company changed as we went. So when I joined, it was like a 15 to 20 people company. And I was on a good commission split. I was on better commission there than I was at the previous company, which was obviously decent. Yeah. But then as people left that company, the owners didn't really want to grow it anymore. So remember back then, we're in a depreciating market. It wasn't easy to do business. So a lot of people left the industry. And obviously I was still doing well. I was still doing deals. So they changed my whole commission package. I think it was 90% in the end, or something like that.
You mean they changed it for the good for you?
Yeah. So they came to me and said, well, we want to give you this. And I was like, yeah, brilliant.
Okay.
But looking back now, I mean, it was great. I was earning a very high split. But there was no environment. I was literally on my own. So for probably 2 years of my time there, I was sitting in the address hotel in the marina every single day. Everyone knew me first name terms. That was just where I operated from. So it was great in that I was earning a high commission, but there was no office environment, no support. Like the director was there if I needed to call him for a question or whatever, but there wasn't really any like support. There was no meetings, no training, nothing like that.
How important do you think that is, office environment?
I think it's massively important. I mean, I'm looking that I can self-motivate myself, so I can, for
sit
2
in the
years,
address on your own.
I was still successful. But even then, there was some complacency that comes in because I'm on such a high commission split. You end up just being a little bit lazy, complacent, shall we say. And it's a lonely place to be honest. Yeah. Like, I could only do it for so long. I got to the point where I just needed an environment. I needed to be in that place, to bounce off people, to ask for help. Because even though you're obviously making good money, I still need help with things.
Yeah, and people around you, support. And
so at the time, I didn't realise how important it was. I saw the bright lights of the high commission. I thought, this is brilliant. And then it got to the point where I was just drained. I just didn't have anyone. It was like trying to fighting the passion again, if that makes sense. Even though I was doing well, there was no one to speak to. It just small things like you come in the morning. Well, you're not coming in anywhere. Yeah. You go into a hotel cafe, sitting there on your own, doing all your work all day. So I learned eventually that I needed to move on from that place.
Yeah. What was it like working at the address on your own? Did you meet people there, network, or?
It was good. It was good in that respect. But it was good in that respect. Yeah, you did meet people that you've done business with. Like I sold a lot of units in there in that time because I was always there. So that was the good side of things, and that's obviously why I encourage our agents now to get out and do that, network, find people. Like I know Ross did that. He was on the beach finding clients. It's the same principle.
Yeah, exactly.
Get out there, meet people, network. That's how.
It's not a coincidence that you're selling units in the address while you're working in there.
Yeah, exactly. I knew everything about the building. I knew every size, every cafe, every restaurant.
Yeah.
Everyone in there knew me by first name terms, so that was good. But from like a purely personal point of view, and like there was no growth. I was just stuck in. I was in that sort of lull, if that makes sense. So although business is going well, you're just not really enjoying it. You're enjoying the money coming in, but not the actual
environment
process.
and people.
Yeah, exactly.
So did that win in the end? Did you changed environment because you wanted to be around people? What happened next?
Yeah, it was getting to that point anyway. But I was. What was the big change was I got nominated for Property Finder Award of award of the year.
Agent of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, get there in the end. So I got nominated for that, and I got a lot of people calling me, like recruiters, company owners, etc., etc.
Quite amazing that, by the way. How many agents would there have been for you to be nominated? Now, you know,
Thousands, isn't there?
Thousands. Pretty impressive.
I think there was 8 people that are nominated. You had to fill out a question, like then you get asked questions, and you have to do a little video and things like that.
Did you?
Yeah. But that was sort of the catalyst, to be honest. Like from that point on, like people in the marina knew who I was, but that was when like company owners and recruiters, it was just relentless.
Trying to recruit you.
Yeah. And I met a couple. I didn't really want to move because I was enjoying the money, but when I met these people, it sort of opened my eyes to like I need more than what I currently have. Like I can't continue to sit on my own in a cafe. Yeah. Even though I'm up for this award, by doing that, I can do so much more with myself. So that's when
the question is, you can reduce the money a little, or the commission split a little, but maybe even being around people in that support or office environment, you might even do more business anyway, which might...
Yeah, correct. So when I moved, I did move for a lower commission split. And at the time, I saw it as moving for... I was giving up commission to be happier is how I saw it. But now what I realised is that I moved to HMS, and the support that I got from Craig probably more than made up for the commission split that I'd lost, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting that, because it shows that at this point you are pretty much the king of the marina. You know everything about it. You've probably done the most deals of any agent, or certainly one of. But you're still self-aware enough to know that you had that advice and you had support which made you better. It just shows that you do need that.
Yeah, 100%. Like Craig, you can go in and speak to Craig whenever you want. He's in the office, which was really good. And it's just different things, like you bounce off ideas with negotiation or offers, or what should I say to this, what should I do to that? And that's what I'd never had before. So that's why we operate in the same way. We have an open door policy. So when any of our agents need help, they come in, they speak to me. And I think that's really important, because that's when I was in that situation, that's what really helped me, not just to be happier, but in turn got more business, bounce off people. So yeah, for me, it was really important. And like I said, I saw it as losing money, but I actually made a lot more money by doing it, if that makes sense.
You've got a great platform at HMS, good environment around you. Why did you leave?
I think I was there for 3 years, literally almost bang on to the day. And each year I'd done more business, done more deals. And to be honest, I felt like I'd done the job for so long. Like in Dubai, I'd done it for 11 years, in the UK too. So I'd done it for 13 years, the same job. And I felt like the next step in my career was to own a business. So my mum, very similar, but not real estate, but very similar in that she worked ridiculously hard and then got to the point where she set up her own business and then moved to a bigger business, set up a bigger business.
What did she do?
Back home, she did loads of different jobs. She was a civil servant, and then eventually she set up originally it was like a small cafe in the lakes, and then eventually it was like one of the biggest cafes in the lakes that you could get. Oh, wow. So completely different industry, but very similar. Like
entrepreneurial,
worked very hard, worked multiple jobs, and then moved into her own business. So I'd always wanted to get to sort of that point of owning my own business, and I'd done the job for so long. I felt like I'd learned so much from all of the different like places or companies that I'd worked, and I felt like I could bring it all together and create, not like the perfect, obviously nothing's perfect, but create like a brilliant platform for people to do well. And I'd known Ross for some time from when he first came, and I know we both spoke about how we were both quite entrepreneurial. We both wanted to set up, and obviously the brand was set up under Luxury Invest Group, doing super well in the UK. So it made sense to sort of step into that and set up the Luxury Invest Group Dubai side.
So you've got your own business now. Was that everything you'd expected?
It was, yeah. It's super exciting. Like the vision that we have is obviously brilliant, like where we want it to be. But it is super tough to begin with. Like people say business is hard, and you're like, yeah, okay, get it. And then when you actually set up, you realize that it is challenging and it is tough, but at the same time, it's exciting. So it's like a mixture between all the two. So I've really enjoyed it, but you end up doing, keep in mind, I've gone from selling properties for 13 years. That's all I've ever done.
Yeah.
To now I'm selling properties, managing people, building a brand, building a business, recruitment, all of these things brought into one. So it's something that you've got to adapt to, but it's very enjoyable, but very stressful as well, I would say.
And for those who don't know, what do LIG do exactly?
So it's split up into two companies. We've obviously got the UK side, which sells properties in the UK, predominantly like Manchester, to people that are outside of the UK, or in the UK as well, but most of our business is done this side of the world. Whereas the Dubai side, which I head up, the plan is to be the go-to brand for luxury, especially waterfront properties in Dubai. And we sell everything from resale, off-plan, rental, the full real estate company in Dubai is what we do.
What areas are you specialising in?
The main areas we do is Marina and Palm. I mean, I've been in Marina for 11 years. Ross is the Palm expert. He sold half of Serenia pretty much. And he's been here for 7 or 8 years. So we've got 20 years experience in those areas. So it's Marina, Palm, beachfront, Blue Waters is the main area of focus. But then we've obviously sold properties everywhere. Like we've done Dubai Hills recently, Jebel Ali Village. So anything that's luxury, a nice product, shall we say?
Yeah.
That's what we focus on.
It's in the name, isn't it? Luxury investment. What's been your biggest ever deal, Jamie?
The biggest deal was the villa in Dubai Hills. It's just over 25 million.
Wow.
Off plan, address Hillcrest.
What was the property like? Amazing.
It's off plan, so I've not been in it.
There's nothing there.
No, but no, it will be amazing, and it's obviously prime location in Dubai Hills.
Yeah.
Address branded.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was it's the most expensive individual property.
This is where we're at now. Where do you see Luxury Invest Group in the next 5 years?
It's a good question. For Dubai side, I see us as the go-to brand for luxury property, especially in the Marina and the Palm. We'll have a good team of agents. We really want to have experienced agents and build the core business around that. So I see that in a bigger office. For the UK side of things, I see us having more brokers and a bigger team taking over UK property. And an office, I think in Manchester, we've said before, and Deansgate would be
that's
good.
The dream.
But then also we've got ambitions to move into development side of things. So whether that in 5 years is an actual development or whether it's villas, renovations. But I see us opening that avenue as well. So taking over the UK, taking over luxury waterfront in Dubai and renovating and developing.
Taking over, basically.
Basically everything, yeah.
What's the single best moment you've had since owning the business on the Dubai side?
On the Dubai side, I think opening the office is a big one, isn't it? When you see it come to fruition, it's like a pinch me moment. You've gone from owning a business without an office to all of a sudden you've got a 2,000 square foot office that you've designed. I think that's probably the one moment that really stands out for me, but there's obviously a lot that have happened over the last sort of couple of years.
And what about biggest challenges?
The biggest challenge, to be honest, I think the three of us are such nice people. We expect everyone else to be the same as us. And I think we've learned a lot of lessons over, especially the last year, that people are not out there like us. No, people don't have good intentions. The amount of people that have basically just stole money off us is crazy. So I think that's the biggest challenge, is just understanding how ruthless business can be.
Jamie, we've had a few questions for you from our social media following. Would you rather have been a professional tennis player or professional footballer?
I actually still think tennis, because I love traveling. So when you're a tennis player, you're literally traveling all the time. Whereas if you're a footballer, you're in one place. Having said that, you can make a lot more money to make money in tennis, you have to be the very, very top.
Yeah.
And even if you're outside the top 100, you're probably not making good money. Whereas in football, you can be in League One, League Two, and you're making hundreds of thousands of pounds. So I'd say tennis for the lifestyle, football for the money.
Yeah. What was the last holiday you went on?
What was the last holiday I went on? I was in the UK. I was in Vegas before that, and then
I was going to say, yeah, you
recently.
can do better than that.
Vegas is, I forgot that one.
Yeah, it's just a blur.
But yeah, the UK.
Here's a good one, Jamie. What's your go-to emoji?
Emoji?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I'm quite funny, actually. So it's the laughing face emoji.
Or is that because you're laughing at people?
Yeah,
though?
probably that. Yeah, that was a good question, though.
What about this one? If you had $1 million and you had to spend it in 24 hours, how would you do it?
Wow. What can I say on a podcast? I'd go on holiday. If you've got $1 million to spend in 24 hours, you probably get a private jet. $1 million is a lot of money. You could go straight to Vegas and spend a hell of a lot of money there.
But you've already done that.
Yeah. I think I'd buy a car, a Urus.
Oh, Lamborghini.
Yeah, naughty.
Good choice. Well, thanks very much, Jamie, giving us an insight into you, where Luxury Invest Group Dubai's going. Thanks very much for joining.
Thank you for having me.